Yeah, I know. Is something going on with my lighting now? Like, what? Why is this? What's going on? Like, it's the sun.
We can't do anything about the sun, girls.
I'm just gonna. I guess I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna rage through.
I'm
All right,
sweating.
just. I'm sweating literally profusely.
Hi, and welcome to Good Vibes FC. I'm Lynn Biondolo coming to you from sunny Seattle.
Sunny Seattle. I'm Sam Mewis coming to you from the Women's Game World headquarters in sunny Vermont.
My goodness.
Oh my gosh. I have some funny stories to tell you about my coaching, including how my voice was cracking, but we'll get to that in a second. Good Vibes FC, which is this podcast, is presented by our great friends over at Olipop. You can use code TWG20 for 20% off at drinkolipop.com. Today on the podcast, we're chatting upcoming U.S. Women's National Team friendlies, as well as my recent coaching experience with Vermont Green. We're also going into Lynn's big goal this past weekend for Seattle and other NWSL updates. You know we've got a sick and tired segment coming for you, but first, we are gearing up for our Euros coverage in a few weeks. So we want to hear from you. Send us all of your Euros related questions. We'll answer some in upcoming podcasts. So email me any and all questions at womensgamemib@meninblazers.com. One more quick update. The women's game and Men in Blazers are coming to DC on June 30th for a live show presented by Allstate ahead of the U.S. Women's National Team game against Canada on July 2nd. Becky, Raj, and I will be at the historic Howard Theater with some incredible guests to discuss the history of the USA versus Canada rivalry. And we want you all to join us. So go grab tickets before they sell out. We'll put a link to tickets in the show notes. Okay, Lynn,
Can I
how
come?
are you?
Can I come to that?
Yeah, you want to come?
Okay, I come. I'm good. I feel like I haven't talked to you or been on the show in forever.
I know.
What
Well,
the heck?
I have lived many lives since we last spoke. I have a new identity now. It is Coach Mewis.
I know. Did like that make you want to get into coaching or like what?
Okay, yeah. So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
As many of these listeners may know, I coached the Vermont Green Women's team in 2 exhibition games last week. I did that last year. Um, Vermont Green as a club has a men's team that plays in the USL 2, which is like the level of soccer that is mostly for college students in between seasons. So it's like their summer league. So it's like amateur. And
And
then the
we
women's
both did that when we were in college as well.
we both
Yeah.
did that. We did that for Pally Blues.
Yes. And that's kind
Yes.
of where we met for the first time. Kind of.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Anyways, continue.
So yeah, exactly. So I coached the team. We started last weekend. We had 3 trainings and then a game,
Hmm.
and then 2 more trainings and then a game. And I want to tell you all about it, Lynn. So what do you want to know?
What is your role?
Head coach. Literally head coach. Okay, I'm going to try and explain this in a way that's not too self-deprecating, but I do think that I have a lot to offer the players in terms of my experiences
Hmm.
playing soccer. I know that. But I don't coach regularly. So
No.
when you have to come to pull a drill out of your back pocket that's about getting the 10s to turn and play the ball forward, I know one thing. I just don't have a lot of reps making speeches, planning practices, communicating what drills are supposed to be like, setting up drills.
Is the staff helping you?
Yeah, that's this is exactly my point. So I was the head coach, but thank God I had such an amazing staff. The other coaches who were there are real coaches. So obviously they did a lot of the practice planning and drills and running it and kind of the tactical plan. And then I think again, I do think I'm not useless. I had a lot to say and a lot to offer, but I couldn't have done it without the staff. So one of the assistant coaches was Brad, who is the UVM men's coach, and the UVM men's team won the national championship last fall. So Brad is a really, really great coach and really knew what he was doing. And I learned so much from him. And then we had Mo, who also has a lot of experience coaching and a lot of experience doing corporate team building. So she was bringing the whole squad together. And then we had Lee, who works for the Vermont Green men's team. And then we had Aaron as the goalkeeper coach. And then guess who came for the last 2 days to join?
Who?
Sarah Killian.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Sarah Killian and I went to UCLA together. And then she played for Sky Blue in Chicago in the league for years and was such a great midfielder. And when the club kind of offered for me to invite a friend, I was like, I want to invite
Where does she
Sarah. It would be
live?
so fun. She lives in Indiana.
Oh,
And she like left her 2 kids and flew to Burlington to help me
that's
coach.
so nice and so sweet of her.
I
What a
know.
friend. Um,
What a friend. And then what ended up happening was Sarah suggested like a tactical adjustment in the second game when we were losing. And then we like came back and won. And I was like,
thank goodness.
nailed it.
So when you're on the sidelines, obviously it's very different than when you're in the game because you can't help how you're used to helping. Like what's going on
Yeah.
in your brain?
Well, so the first game on Wednesday was like pretty seamless. We won 4-0.
Mhm.
It was like the other team was great, but it was like a comfortable win. So, we made some changes. We got to make some subs. We got to get a lot of players minutes. We didn't have to do anything crazy tactically. Like we definitely learned more about the players as the game went on. So we made a few tweaks and moved some people around and it like worked really well. Like I just need to explain as a coach when like you sub somebody in or change somebody's position and then you like a goal results from it. You're literally like, am I Pep Guardiola? Like, was this
Am I the
me?
best thing that's ever happened to soccer?
Am I a genius? And like, of course, no, it was the players doing great things. And of course, it was the coaching staff's idea as well. But you do get this thing of like, oh my God, like I am a genius. So that did happen once in the first game, which was so sick, where we like switched the winger in the 9.
Yeah.
And then immediately the girl that had moved out wide scored. And I was just like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. But I forget what your original question was. I got carried away with how much of a genius I am.
I said that like you're obviously in a different position and you can't really help being on the sideline. So
Oh,
how like what's going on in your brain?
well, yeah. So the first game, super fun. Did all I could. We won 4-0. The second game, we like went down a goal
Mhm.
and I felt so helpless because you could kind of tell the girls were like looking for help
Yeah.
and like looking to the bench for like a tactical adjustment. But there just wasn't like a clear or obvious change that was like easily communicated. We kind of had to like wait for halftime to address some things. And I just felt so helpless. I felt like I wanted to have prepared them better or I wanted to like make a snap move that would fix it all. There is this like distance between the players are looking to you for something, but there's nothing you can do. And that's so different from when you're a player.
Does that make you feel empathy for coaching, like coaches?
Literally so much. There were so many things that made me feel empathy for coaches. One being I really wanted to get everybody time on the field, and I knew that some of the girls were gonna be disappointed if they didn't get to play. It was, like, eating away at me
Yeah.
and, like, keeping me up, and I didn't get everybody to play, which is so sad, and I really wish that we could've, and it just gave me a lot of empathy, and I know I said this exact thing last year. If anybody has been listening to this podcast for a full year, I said the same thing last year. I was like, "I see coaching in a new light." Every time I went to my coach and was like, "What can I be doing better?"
Yeah.
I don't even know if they knew the answer. Like, it's not as easily communicatable as you think it is. It's
Yeah.
just this like sense of who plays where. We're learning about players so quickly. Like you really are just like doing the best you can as a person. And I think I always thought that my coaches like
Should have the answer.
should have every answer and should be able to tell me exactly what I need to fix.
I feel
And
like
sometimes it's unclear.
it's also I would assume, I'm not a coach, but when you're in a position where it's not like they're getting paid to play, like it's an amateur league. And so
Yeah.
you're like, I should get everybody in, which I feel like is a kind of a different mindset than when you're in professional sports. Cause you're like, I want to get everybody in, but it's a business at the end of the day. So,
Right.
so I feel like I just feel bad.
I mean, I do. I really do. I think especially because there's such a community element to
Mm,
it. There's this one story that I do want to tell where we had a young player who isn't in college yet.
mhm.
And after both games, her and her mom told me that she missed her senior prom to be at this game on Saturday night.
Well, did you put her in the game?
No,
You're an
I
asshole.
didn't know
You're an
until
asshole. I'm just kidding.
I,
I'm just
I
kidding.
literally, I know. I was mortified. I was like, why didn't anybody tell me this?
But, like, getting
I
that
felt so
experience too,
bad.
like, if you were
That's what she said. She was like, "It was worth it. Like, this was so worth it." And I just was like blown away by
you
that.
would have said that too, though, if you were her age and had the same experiences and to be coached by you. I think that that's something to it. Like, yes, you're not like a traditional coach, but you have so much experience at such a high level that you have so much to give and like advice to give off the field and on the field. Which brings me to my next question. Have you like stayed in contact with any of them? Are you like talking to them regularly? Because obviously this was like a very short amount of time.
Well, yeah, I mean, this just ended like 24 hours ago. Like I'm still recovering and catching up on sleep. But they all have my number and I said I'm available anytime. Like I'd love to have them back next year. The program's hope is that we'll grow every year until we can play in a regional league that's like against other local teams. And so my hope is that everybody had a good experience and I had a great experience. So if we can just keep learning and growing, then I mean, yeah, I would love to have everybody back. Okay, wait, there's like a couple other stories specifically I want to
Oh,
tell.
tell me.
One, I forgot to wear deodorant to both games.
Naturally.
So now I think that maybe not wearing deodorant is my good luck charm.
Okay, she's going natural.
Is there anything else about my coaching experience that you want to know?
Well, do you have your coaching license?
No.
Does it make you want to take a course?
Yes, it does because I would like to be able to. I think so. As the week went on, I gained confidence and I ended up running a couple of drills.
Mhm.
I did like a little passing pattern that I actually really liked and I would have really liked to do it if I was a player. But then I tried to teach them our juggling drill
I was
and
gonna
they
say,
had
did you
no
do that?
interest.
No
Yeah,
interest?
they had no interest. They had no interest. They like all like four of them like tried to do it for like 30 seconds. Then they were like, yeah, we're not doing that. And I was like, oh,
That's so upsetting.
very odd.
That was like
Very
our
odd.
if nobody knows what we're talking about, but we did this juggling circuit during COVID, which was basically you started at 5 yards apart from each other. And it was like the ball would bounce one time in between, one touch, and then two touch off the ground, one touch off the ground. And then while you're doing this, somebody backs up and then you do one touch off the ground or two touch off the ground, one touch off the ground, and then you scoop back to 15 yards and you do two touch off the ground, one touch off the ground. And we never
So
got it.
that's how I explained it. I got it like a little bit wrong the
Yeah.
first time. I was trying to, and it was like a little bit confusing. And I think they were just like, "We're not doing this. This is crazy."
We need a
And
board.
that was like a blow to my confidence, where I was like, "Oh, I'm a bad coach. Like I have bad drills." But as the week went on, I did gain confidence, and I think that I got better at it. And I ended up running a couple of drills. I did that drill that I used to love as a center midfielder with the four boxes
Uh-huh.
and the two center mid, and they're 1v1 in each of the four boxes, and then the two center mids are neutrals, and it becomes a 3v1 in each
Yeah.
box, and you play possession. And I think that one girl said to me, I've never done a drill like that before in my life. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was my favorite drill. So I made you guys do it. So to answer your question, I would like to take a coaching course so that I have more confidence to like run sessions. And let's say next year it's 2 weeks. How would I like set that up?
Mm.
And I want to like learn that. So don't know if coaching like full time is in my future, but like I do love this short season situation. And I think it's like really fun and rewarding, but I would like to be a little bit better prepared for
Yeah.
next time.
Because if you had 2 weeks, well, I mean all the time, but you have to like come up with drills that like make sense together, like through
Periodically.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is really cool. I think it's also cool that you're bringing attention to Vermont soccer, and you have that platform to do that for those women and girls. But looking at the crowd, like it was sold out.
Both games were sold out, Lynn, 2,500 people. And Ilona Marr came to one of the games.
I know. What is she doing there?
She's from Vermont.
And so she was like, I gotta get there.
She, I think, was like, she's in her world travels. Ilona Marr, USA rugby player, superstar, Dancing with the Stars.
What can't she do?
Literally the most iconic person in the world right now is from Vermont. I think she was just like home visiting family. She wanted to come to the game, so she came to the game. She was throwing t-shirts out into the crowd. The last story I need to tell, and then of course we can move on from Vermont Green, even though I could do 5 podcasts about it. So we're losing the second game on Saturday, right? Like we're down a goal. And I told you I felt helpless. I'm trying to communicate to the girls.
Mm-hmm.
My voice is cracking. So I'm going, "Nee, stop!" On top of that, it's the 48th minute. The other team gets a goal kick and the goalkeeper is walking to get the ball. They're trying to waste time. They're up 1-0. It's the 48th minute. I turn to my assistant coach and I go, "Why are the ball kids not hustling? Should I go tell the ball kids that they need to pick it up?" And he goes, "Please don't.
I'm begging you to stop talking to them.
please don't go yell at the ball kids. That's pretty cringe. And I go, well, should I say something to the ref? And he was like, not yet. It's the 48th minute. Like, not yet.
Yeah, like there's so much game to be played still.
Naturally, yeah. 10 minutes later, we score. And I'm like, oh, no rush, no rush, no rush. I'm doing this as the play that we're making last minute subs. And I'm going like this to the girls running off.
There's
Like, what a psycho.
there's nothing like be smart, relax. Next 5, big 5.
Yeah, I said big 5 multiple times. Like, you think there are things that you're never going to say, and then you say them all.
Were they laughing at you when your voice was cracking?
The coaches were like, Jesus.
This is gonna throw Scott under the bus, but Scott, our coach here, his voice cracks all the time, and I'm like, and nobody ever says anything. But I'm like, you would think that his voice would stop doing that with how much he coaches, but no, it cracks
Yeah.
almost every day. I'm like, Scott.
No. Some of us just have weak vocal cords.
Yeah, me. I have weak vocal cords.
Me too.
I couldn't be a coach for that reason.
It was really funny. I had a great time. And I learned a ton. And like, I'm just so proud of the group. I can't believe we won both games.
I'm so proud
I
of
can't
you.
believe the fans and the crowd were like so amazing and engaged. Like, everybody runs onto the field after the game, and I like got to meet a bunch of people and sign autographs and take pictures. And it's just like, people just loved it.
Of course I do. It's women's soccer. Ooh, it's women's soccer.
It's women's
It's
something.
women's something.
It was so fun. Well, wait, Lynn, I know that you had your own women's sports experience. You went to a Seattle Storm game.
Yes.
How was that?
It was so fun. We were front row. Like, watching them play is amazing. After the game, it was me, Jordan Heidema, Anna, and Sam, and we were able to go shoot around for a bit after. So the president of the Storm was like, yeah, you guys can like shoot around, but like obviously not for a very long time. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did really well. I took 3 shots and made two of them, and I was like, all right, I'm done. And so then Jordan goes, she shoots a couple times, finally makes hers. And then we were like, okay, the time is tight. Let's make sure we all make a basket. Sam and Anna are going back and forth. Miss, 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 miss. Finally, Sam makes one. And then it's Anna's turn. Miss, miss, miss. The lady's like, come closer. Like, I know you want to be way back there, but come closer. Gets her in front of the free point line. Misses. The lady's like, I need you to extend. Like,
Is she airballing?
Airballing or hitting the front of.
Well, Anna's from
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Do they not have basketball there?
She didn't partake. I don't know.
She just didn't play. She just didn't play.
Yeah, she didn't partake in that. So
I know. I was actually going to say, like, basketball in Europe is actually really good.
So it's actually really, really good and really difficult.
Yeah.
But so she's like airballing short though. Then she's like hitting the rim in front of the 3-point line. So then the lady's like, extend. Anna's like, okay, I got it. Scoots back. The president's like, I've worked so hard to get you closer. Come closer. Gets her.
You just got to teach her how to do a layup.
Yeah. Anyways, so she tries to do a
Use
layup.
the backboard,
misses.
Anna.
Misses the layup. Gets her right underneath the basket to like bank it. Misses. The poor woman is like, that's pretty impressive that you missed. I look up.
There's not much I can do for you.
I know. I look up and the cleaning crew is dying laughing. And I'm like, Anna, you gotta make one. Just make one. So
did she make
finally
one?
She made one. Like, I kid you not, like 100 shots later. At some point I was like, it's statistically impossible that you haven't made one yet.
Was she laughing or was she like rattled?
I think a little bit rattled, but I was dying
Yeah,
laughing. Like, I couldn't control it. I could not control myself from laughing. But overall it was a good experience. They had a great game. They won. I had a great time.
Great.
I got chicken nuggets sent to my seat, which is
classic.
What more could you want? Sports and chicken nuggets.
I mean, I love that.
And that's basically my women's sports experience that wasn't my own sport.
Well, that's incredible. I love that you went to the game.
Thank you.
I love that we're just out here supporting women's sports in all ways.
In all ways.
Okay, Lynn, well, believe it or not, it's almost time again for U.S. Women's National Team games. The team will be playing Ireland twice in Colorado and Cincinnati, and then we'll take on Canada in a huge rivalry matchup in D.C. And full disclosure, this episode was recorded before the roster was released, but one thing we did want to talk about is the news that came out that Emma Hayes is resting U.S. Women's National Team players playing in Europe, giving them the chance to take an actual break. Emma said, this is the first opportunity and the only one for them to take a break between now and the World Cup in 2 years. And player welfare and rest and recovery are also important for these players. Naomi Gurmo will be in camp, but will miss players like Lindsay Heaps, Crystal Dunn, Kat Macario, Lily Johannes, Valentellis Joyce, and Emily Fox, who has played so many minutes this spring, Lynn. I was actually like relieved to see her on vacation this week.
I think this is like super smart of Emma. Of course, it's smart of Emma. She's smart. You have to look at the big picture of, at the end of the day, we are trying to win a World Cup. And so, how do we make sure that those players coming back in are as fresh as possible? And if there's any like nagging injuries, to be able to get that under control, so that they can make a push going into the World Cup. And so, I think it's super smart,
Yeah,
but they will be
super
missed.
smart and super like long-term oriented, which I think again, I have felt in my experience that maybe I was missing a long-term,
Hmm.
plan myself. And to have somebody like Emma come in and just mandate that these players take the rest when they can. I'm like, oh my gosh, a European vacation this summer. Like, what could be better?
I know.
But that does bring us to our Olipop gut check of the week. Lynn, time to crack open our cans. I have ginger lemon today.
I got classic root beer.
I feel like ginger lemon is like, I'm like a health girl.
Ooh.
I'm like a girl who would order hot water with lemon at a restaurant. Just hot water with lemon, please. And a ginger lemon Olipop.
Well, I am just a classic girl.
You're a girl that would order a root beer float at a movie theater.
Yeah, and then my stomach hurt the whole time and complained about
I was gonna say I hate that about you, that like and I was like, that's mean, but like that you'll just like eat something and be like, yeah, my stomach's gonna hurt, but like I'm just gonna do it.
Well, would you rather me not?
I guess I like love that about you, but like I hate it for you.
I hate it for me too, but it's like it's either that or I don't have happiness. So
Remember when we realized you were allergic to corn because all I was doing was making like cornbread and corn casseroles and like we were eating it religiously for dinner and then you were like, my stomach hurts.
my stomach has never hurted. My stomach has never hurted more in my entire life than that moment. And do you remember that next day we had a game? And I was like, Sam, I don't know if I can play the game. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. And then thank God it got like canceled and we had to play the next day after that. And I was like, thank God because I need to rest.
By the way, like why was I making corn casserole as our pregame meal?
What happened was, remember, I was like, okay, I'm gonna become a vegetarian. And I stopped eating meat. And then I was looking in Joanna
Oh my
Gaines'
god, I
cookbook.
forgot that you did that. That was
And
crazy.
then I went to Joanna Gaines' cookbook and I found like a corn chili. So then we had corn chili and cornbread.
Oh
And then we ate
yeah.
so much of it. Like we ate the whole thing of
Yeah,
cornbread.
it was literally my dream. Like I'm literally like a cow.
We
Do
had,
cows eat corn?
yeah. I don't think it's good for them either. But we had so much corn and so much cornbread. And then I was like, I'm dying. And my mom was like, well, your grandma's allergic to corn. Maybe you have that issue. And I was like, okay, well, turns out.
Well, thanks for not telling me till I was 27. All right. Anyways, this is our Olipop gut check of the week. We got a little bit distracted. The third game in this U.S. Women's National Team window is against Canada, which is obviously a huge rivalry game. There's so much history between these two teams. So our Olipop gut check of the week is: what's your most vivid memory of playing against Canada with the U.S. Women's National Team?
My most vivid memory is when we were playing against them, trying to, for qualifiers, Olympic qualifiers. I had a goal and 2 assists.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think it's my one of my best goals I've ever scored on the team, and
Yeah.
it was just so electric too. I was so pumped. It was we had already solidified that we were going to the Olympics, but it was like this game was gonna dictate if we were like first or second in the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember the first half we were like a little all over the place, and then the second half we just came out and scored 3 goals on them,
Rocked
and
it.
then just we were like, yeah, F you guys. And then we went home.
That's amazing. I remember that as well. Sadly, my most vivid memory of playing against Canada was at said Olympics
Yeah,
in the
they
semifinal
definitely got us back.
when they got us back and we
They got
lost.
they definitely got us back.
And I just remember I subbed on with like 10 minutes left and I just was like helpless. And I just like wanted to help so bad that I just like didn't. That was a tough one. So I'm really hoping you guys get them back this time again in this friendly that's coming up. But I'm super excited to cover the game. I just think in general, there is so much to talk about and so much history between these two teams that it's like bound to be a great game. So I'm excited to do the live show in DC right before. I'm excited to go live after the game. I'm excited to watch you all play. That was our Olipop gut check of the week. USA Canada coming up soon. With that, everybody, we do need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're talking NWSL, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. All right, let's break down the action from the NWSL this past weekend. Naturally, we'll start with your game, Lynn. Your team tied Chicago 2-2. You scored a goal. Talk us through what happened early on in your game, though. You guys went down 2-0 in the first 13 minutes. What was going on out there?
We had control of the game, but when you have control and you don't capitalize, you get like this false sense of security, like, oh, this is going to
Yeah.
be easy. I think that's exactly what happened. And then they hit us on transition. Ludmilla did her thing, scored, and then we got rattled. And then it was like,
Yeah.
then they hit another big ball over the top and she scored again. And we were just rattled. And I think that a couple of things. One, we're like a very young team. And I've said this a lot of times, but I think when you're young, sometimes you start playing with your emotions instead of like what is actually happening in the game. Like, yes, we are 2-0 down, but we were in control of the game before this moment. So let's just regroup and continue to play. We have a lot of game left. Like it's like you said, it was the 13th minute. But instead, I think it was like we're so rattled, we're gonna try to do all these crazy things. We're gonna force things. We don't want it in the back. We blah blah blah. We're gonna overplay. And it was just like chaotic. I'm happy we were able to make it to halftime, 2-0 down, to be able to regroup. And I'm not gonna lie, I did go off at halftime. And then we came back out and it was like a whole new team.
Can you tell us more about going off at
Well, I
halftime?
didn't like I was so frustrated. I was very frustrated with how things were going. So I just jogged off the field and it was a very long walk back to the locker room and I just walked by myself to get my thoughts in order. And when everybody got into the locker room, I just said, "Can everybody come in?" And normally Laura allows us to like have a moment by ourselves and then she'll come in, but at this moment she had just immediately come in the locker room. And basically, I said to the effect of, it's a mentality thing. Like, we can talk about tactics all day long, but we need to get our mentality right. Like, we're not winning second balls. We are kicking the ball out of bounds. We're not winning first balls. We're not winning any tackles, blah, blah, blah. We're not willing to put our bodies on the line to score a goal. And that's where it starts. So Laura can talk tactics all day long, but it starts with our mentality. And we have two choices. One, we can lay down and accept what's happening to us, or we could fight and we have 45 minutes to fight, but it starts with you looking internally and saying, how am I contributing
Contributing.
to what's happening right now? And then I was like, I'm done. But I said it very stern and like with no stutters. You'd be so proud of me.
I am so proud of you. That kind of like leadership is amazing. And I think that as one of the most experienced players on your team to just be like, I'm not like beating around the bush or like, sugarcoating anything. Like this is what needs to happen and we're going to do it. I think my next question is, Lynn, so obviously you guys came out, you had to fight and scrap the entire second half. You did end up out shooting Chicago 17-8. Your team scored 2 goals and you tied the game. And I want to talk about your goal in a second, but tell me, if you guys hadn't scored those 2 late goals, would you have been proud of your second half performance regardless?
I think that, yes, you could like look back and say, okay, we were able to come out and fight. But I think that that's too, like, simplifying it a little bit too much, because if you look at our whole season, we're having like a high game and then a low game and a high game and a low
Mhm.
game, and it's like, where is the consistency gonna start? Like, when is that gonna come into play? And so, even in that game, we have a bad half and then we have a good half.
Mm.
And so, yes, I'm like so proud of the team and myself and everybody to be able to like come back and be scrappy. And I think that we have shown that. But like, why can we do it one half and why can we not do it the other half? Or why is it game to game? You know what I mean? And I think that that's like the larger question.
Do you know the answer why?
I do think it just comes down to a little bit of youth. I think it also, it's like a adrenaline dump sometimes. I think that when you play
Mm.
like a big game and then the next game is a game that, quote unquote, somebody like
Yeah.
not at the top of the table, even though every single team in this league is hard. But for example, like we played beat Kansas City, and then our next game was against Houston. And so it's like, woohoo. And then it's like, oh, and how do you stay at that top bit? Or And I think that that comes with time of, like, how do you train every single day at, like, a high level? How do you, um, make sure that every single thing you're doing is at a high level? How do you view every team at a high level? And I think that that just comes with more experience.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense. One, it reminds me of, like, when you after you have finals, you get sick.
Mhm.
And so it's like you just have to keep your cortisol up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you girls cannot be letting that dip because then you're gonna get sick and then you're gonna lose. And then the other thing it reminds me of is, when a team has, like, an incredible comeback win in a semifinal
Mhm.
and you're like, "Wow, that team is, like, riding a high, they're on such great momentum," but then the final, they're, like, totally
Yeah,
depleted and exhausted because they just were all the way up here that, like, it's unsustainable.
exactly.
So I actually feel like it sounds like you have to find the, like,
Middle.
sustainable high.
We talk about this all the time of, like, you can't get too high and you can't get too low. Like, the game you played was never as good as you thought it was, and it's never as bad as you thought it was. And I think that, like, being able to live in that middle ground is kind of always where you wanna be, but also with the ability to, like, we need to push. And I think that our team has shown that we can push when we need to, and I think that everybody who came on in our game was incredible and really helped change things and formation changes and kind of just like an attitude shift coming out at second half. It's just being able to start at that, like, coming out of the gate, and
Yeah.
also when something bad happens, like, not getting so rattled.
Because then you kind of, like, get yourself into a little bit of a hole.
Yeah.
And I guess yeah, yikes. Ludmilla scores this brace
Mhm.
inside of 3 minutes. That must have been a little bit of a hole. You guys are also at Soldier Field,
Yeah.
which is a huge stadium. How did that contribute, do you think, to the occasion or anything your team might have been feeling?
No, I actually was very disappointed with that stadium. The field was horrible. Kendrick Lamar had just performed there, and then they laid grass down, and it was, like, uneven surfaces. So, like, you could see where the grass was laid.
Yikes. That doesn't sound good. Was the crowd good?
Yeah, the crowd is great. Like, I think that that part was amazing. I don't also don't know how much, like, say Chicago has over the grounds of the field, but I was just I'm disappointed. I'm like, that we're not a American football team where maybe you could get away with this. Like, we play a sport where we're using our feet and the ball is rolling on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild. I think that's, like, I guess the one of the challenges of trying to do these, like, exhibition matches at unique stadiums, which I understand why Chicago is trying to do is to get, like, new fans and new audiences at the games, but obviously I think the field quality and safety comes first.
But I will say, I think the crowd was amazing, and I think that, like, if they could get the ground in order, the field in order,
Yeah.
having played there, I think it's just more accessible for fans to come out to the
Yeah.
games in the city, and, it felt like it was a good experience for people watching. Again, I was not in the crowd, but that's what it felt like.
Well, I mean, 4 goals, 2 tied 2 to 2, pretty good experience, especially those Ludmilla goals were extremely fun to watch, but Lynn, your goal in the 87th minute, which was the start of the comeback for the Seattle Reign, was also really good. A left-footed bender,
Thank you.
a curly Q.
Be
Can you talk us through what you were feeling and thinking?
Be calm, girl. Well, I felt like we were pushing the whole second half, and it was like a sense that, like, a goal was coming. I think that we were, like, having more and more crosses. We were taking them end line. We were getting more corners. We were just pinning them in their own half and even in their own defensive third. And I don't remember how Sam Meza got the ball, but she went to go cross it in to Jordan, like, in that half space, and anyways, their defender blocked it, and it popped out to my feet because I didn't realize she was gonna cross it, and I was in a position that I was in a pocket if she needed me to open up, but anyways, it landed
Mhm.
at my feet, and then in that moment, I said, "Breathe, girl," and then the seas parted, and I
Good.
said, "You got a left foot? Just bend it in there."
Good thing you took that breath and let the seas part.
I know. Sometimes, like, you see glory and you just blast it, but I did not this time, so that's good.
Well, that's amazing. And then your teammate Jordan Bug was able to squeeze one in as well to tie it up. You guys walk away with a point. I feel like also sometimes you like learn the most lessons from games like that.
Mhm.
So I hope for your team that you guys come away with that, not just with the point, but with like an important lesson about maybe mentality and weathering a storm of sorts.
Do you know there's always that moment in the season that's like you have a choice to go
Yeah.
this way or this way, and it felt like that game was our, like, choice game, and so I'm excited to see what we do next weekend when we go to Utah, um, and then obviously we're taking a large break because of league, so we'll just see. Time will tell.
We will see. Before we talk a little bit more about that break, let's take a look around the rest of the league. Gotham had quite a showdown.
Mhm.
They beat Utah 3 to nothing, but they also got 2 red cards. So by the end of the game, it was 11 versus 9. I felt like that was just a wild thing to see.
I know.
Esther scored a brace, which puts her in the lead for the Golden Boot with 9 goals on the year. And Lynn, I want to talk about Esther for a second. I know I've asked Becky specifically like what makes Esther so special at scoring goals, but you played with her
Mhm.
last year at Gotham. So like what did you see from her as a teammate that makes you kinda go, "Yeah, I'm not surprised she's scored 9 goals this season."
Yeah, well, first of all, okay, brace queen. It's like she doesn't know how to score just 1 goal.
I know.
It's crazy.
I think was this her 4th brace?
Yeah, and I feel like when last year when I was playing with well, the last 2 years when I was playing with her, it was always 2 goals too. And even when she's going in with Spain, it's like 2 goals. I'm like, "What is going on?" But
She just gets going,
she gets
I
going.
guess.
I think Esther is so tidy in and around the box. Like her touches are really tight and she has like a very calmness to her, and then
Yeah.
she's also sneaky. Like, she's not the biggest player, she's not the fastest player, she's not the like, you look at her player profile and you're like, "You're not the most athletic," but her, like, timing and space and her ability to, like, see spaces and sneakiness, I think, has led to her having so many goals. But in and around the box, she's just really tidy.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to watch. I know one of her goals was a PK,
Mhm.
but she scores in all types of ways.
Yeah.
She's so dangerous with her head, even though, like you said, she's not necessarily the tallest or the strongest. She's just so
Well, I think
clean in and around the box.
I'm interested to see now as, like, the seasons progress, and obviously she's definitely a threat, but I think her being smaller, people, like, don't mark her when you obviously
Mm,
should. Like, she knows how to direct her headers too, which is a
yeah.
skill in itself and the timing of it. So, I'm interested to see if people start marking her more. But even when it's, like, with her feet, sometimes when you would think somebody would pass it, she'll just shoot it, or she'll take a touch that allows her to set up for the next shot. Like, she's just really tidy in there.
Yeah. Well, that's been incredible to watch. So yeah, Esther's leading the Golden Boot race with 9 goals. Um Elsewhere, the Courage traveled to Angel City. The Courage are notably still without head coach Sean Nahas, who's out with a health concern. So obviously, we're hoping that Sean's okay and sending well wishes to him. But the Courage were able to get the result on the road thanks to goals from Courtney Vine, who scored immediately, and then Brianna Pinto, who scored right at the end of the game. Pinto came up clutch. It was a last minute finish to secure 3 points for the Courage. And away at BMO Stadium, which is always a really difficult place to play. So, a big 3 points for North Carolina.
I know there has been some crazy games.
There has been some crazy games. I feel like Angel City are involved in almost all of them. Riley Tiernan was able to get on the board for Angel City again. She could be on her way to breaking the record for most goals scored by a rookie, which was set by Diana Ordonez at 11 goals in 2022. Riley's at 7, but we're not even halfway through the year yet. So I I, I don't know what it is, but Riley Tiernan for Angel City has just been like
Yeah.
a really historic and impressive start to the season.
Yeah, she's like their cheat code. I also think that not to go back, but Brianna Pinto is like North Carolina's late cheat code. Like
Yeah.
Esther is Gotham's brace cheat code. Like it's pretty incredible what people are doing right now.
Ludmilla is Chicago's cheat
Yeah, like
code.
it's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
wow. This should be a whole segment. Next time you're on, Lynn, we'll do a whole segment about cheat codes.
Okay, I like that.
That sounds great. I wish we were prepared for that today. It was a big night for Angel City, which has one of the most active fan bases in the league, to cheer on their team, but also to protest the ice raids that are going on in LA. The club issued 10,000 t-shirts out to fans that read Immigrant City Football Club. And Lynn, I felt like it was really amazing to see this kind of commitment from Angel City to address injustices. Angel City is a club that has been through so much recently in a city, LA, that has been through so much recently. And I feel like the club is handling everything with grace and like a real determination to acknowledge issues and be on the right side of things. I know that there was some discontent from fans about signs being taken away. But that seems like it was direction from BMO Stadium itself, not Angel City. So I did just want to address it from the outside. I thought that these t-shirts and this messaging was a really powerful statement from the club.
I completely agree. I think that obviously what's going on right now is like horrible. There's so much of like keep politics out of sports, blah blah blah, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, like we are humans first, and I think that when you are in LA and you play for teams that this is affecting and your families are being affected, how can you not say something? And I just think at the end of it, we're human first before we're soccer players. So I thought it was a really powerful statement, and it's just sad. Like it's sad, but it is
Yeah.
powerful. And I think that what's really exciting about soccer and this country is we've always found a way to come together and fight injustices. And I am hopeful that that's what will continue to happen.
I think especially like during a time where it just feels so complicated to be part of an American league, when clubs do stuff like this or when players do stuff like this, it that makes me really proud to be, I'm not a part of the league anymore, but I'm proud that Angel City takes this kind of stance and is like so openly and honestly truthful about where their like heart lies. Like I just think that a lot of organizations don't take that kind of stance for fear of like losing
Yeah,
fans
backlash.
or something.
Yeah,
And for Angel City to really say like we are people first and immigrants are so important to our club, to our sport, to our city. What's going on is wrong. I just think is really powerful. It makes me feel proud to be like kind of part of the NWSL.
100%.
Um,
Well, LA was founded on immigrants. It's a city of immigrants, and when you're playing for LA, you're representing that. You are part of that. And so how could you not say something?
I totally agree. I think it was really powerful. A few other storylines to note from the weekend. Yasmin Ryan scored her first goal of the season and her first goal for the Dash, despite the Dash losing 3-2 to San Diego. San Diego looked really great, especially in the first half. I just feel like their attack is really hard to stop. It's so varied. There's like multiple really dangerous players who are all clicking right now. San Diego is for sure a team to watch. The Washington Spirit lost 2-0 against Portland away. And as usual, Orlando won, Kansas City won. So Kansas City are sitting on top of the table. They're 5 points clear of second place Orlando. So Kansas City are guaranteed to go into this upcoming long break in first place. And Lynn, you mentioned a couple minutes ago, all these teams, all the teams in the NWSL have just one more game this upcoming weekend before this long international break that's about 5 weeks,
Mhm.
which will enable players to go away to some of their like regional international tournaments like the Euros, the AFCON, and the Copa America. Have you started thinking about how you want your team to feel entering the break? And like, do you think all these teams are saying we've got to go into the break on a good note?
You wanna go into the break, obviously, on a good note, but at the same time, I think if you're thinking past this game into the break, then you're looking a little too far ahead. Like, you almost wanna be
Mm,
like, "We wanna
mm,
win." Like, we just we just wanna win this game, and then there's still a lot of, like, season left because you never know. Like, you hope your whole team comes back, knock on wood, but with the Euros and stuff, you just never know what's gonna happen with anybody. You have to
yeah.
almost worst case scenario, people don't come back. And so you're almost like, how do we just with the team we have right now? Because some people have already left for the Euros. With the team we have right now, how do we just solidify and get a win? Like straight up just you want to prove something always every single game. And this league is tight. Like the table's still tight. I know Kansas City's 5 points clear, but that middle block is people are like 1 point away from each other.
Yeah, Lynn, I know that some teams have announced exhibition games and tournaments during July, during this long break. You guys have a game. Can you
Yes.
tell us about like what your team's going to be doing and what your schedule is going to be like?
Well, my team has a lot to figure out, I think, because we have we have 2 people 3 people gone for the Euros. Then we have 4 of us called up to the full team, and then we have 1, 2, 3, I think 4 called up to the youth team, the 23s. And because the CBA break happens during our FIFA window, our team is allowing people who don't get the break to take a break. So that's like, half our team will be on, like, a
Yeah.
break during July. So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with the people that are here. And then on top of that, we have, I think, 2 games. I don't know. It's a mess is what it is, and I don't
Yeah.
envy the coaching staff.
Yeah. Me neither. Jeez, my gosh, knowing what little experience I have coaching, imagine if half the team was on a different break schedule than the other half.
I know. So it part of it is like, okay, how do we get
Uh,
people as fresh as possible going into the latter half of the season? Also, how do we continue to stay on form and not dip
yeah.
while also making sure people are coming back healthy, ready, and rearing to go? So I don't know what our team's going to do.
Well, you tell Laura that if she needs any tips on
Yeah.
drills, juggling games, deciding whether, to give everybody playing time or not, tell her not to call me because I do not know what I'm doing. Do you have any plans? Like, are you going to come see my swim race in Lake Tahoe?
Well, I hope so. I'm going to the players ball. I should have told you.
Me
I
too.
know. I was going to tell you because I'm doing something with QuickBook in LA and then
Me too.
oh my gosh. So basically I'm doing the exact same thing you're doing in my break.
Basically, we're going to be together all week.
I know I'm very thrilled about it.
Sorry that you had to listen to me and Lynn's travel plans, but we're very excited. We do need to take one more quick break, but when we come back, we've got an email from Tinsley and a sick and tired. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. Before we go to the inbox, it's time to share a little news from around the women's soccer world. Last week, it was reported that Arsenal will play all 11 of their Women's Super League home matches at Emirates Stadium. They played 9 times at their North London home this past season, bringing in an average of more than 34,000 fans per game. And on the heels of their huge Champions League win, this seems like another big leap for the club, but also the league as a whole, which is reporting higher revenues with football financiers predicting the WSL will bring in over £100 million next season. And finally, a special shout out to the Tampa Bay Sun, who became the USL Super League's first ever champions when they beat Fort Lauderdale United in front of a sold out crowd this weekend. All right, Lynn, let's go over to the inbox. We got an email from Tinsley that says, "Hi, Sam, Lynn, and Becky. My name is Tinsley, and I'm a huge fan of you guys. I'm a listener since your snacks days, and they always make me smile. By the way, Lynn, somebody made a snack sign at my Vermont Green game, and it was so cute.
So cute. So many
I know.
people say snacks, snacks. And I'm like, it's
I
good
know.
vibes.
I know. It's good vibes. Okay, back to Tinsley. Tinsley writes, "To Lynn, I'm the kid you gave your cleats to in San Diego, and here's all the things I
Oh,
wish I could have said to you in that moment over my tears. You inspire me so, so much, and your story is a huge reminder to me that I don't have to take the so-called normal path. I'm your biggest cheerleader, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your cleats are going to be kept very, very safe. With lots of love, Tinsley. P.S. Sam, here's a photo of my dog Bear. Very cute photo of Bear. Lynn, how does this make you feel
oh,
to read
that's so
this?"
sweet. She was so sweet. I first of all felt really bad because she said, "Can I have your jersey?" And I was like, "I don't think you can have my jersey, but do you want my cleats?" But then my cleats were like horribly dirty. And I was like, I feel bad. Like I should send you a new pair of cleats, like new ones. But then I was signing them and I looked up and the sweet girl was crying. And I was like, oh, Tinsley.
Oh, Tinsley.
But
Oh my gosh, well, such a nice email. You know what I love that you told her is that she doesn't have to take like the normal path. I think that's like such an important message for kids to hear.
yeah, 100%. I think that we talk about this all the time. First of all, two things. One, like, I hope that in my career, if I can like even just like touch one girl, I feel like accomplished. And so hearing stories like this like really touch my heart. Of course, we're like soccer players first and foremost, but at the end of the day, I think we do have like this this gift to like be able to influence people and you can like choose how to do that. But my path was not in a straight line at all. It's still not. And so I think if you have a will, there's a way. And I think you see that with the league as well. Like there's people that are getting their first calls up at the age of 32. There's people who will go not to the youth at all and then go straight into the national team. And I just think that you just have to stay in your lane and on your own path. And the quicker you can do that and not compare yourself to others and not try to be like somebody else, the faster you'll get there. And so I'm really happy that she took that message.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, Tinsley, thank you so much for writing in. I loved hearing from you, and it sounds like Lynn did too. So don't forget, everybody, you can email us anytime with questions at womensgamemib@menandblazers.com, and we might read it aloud on a show. Okay, I think we want to do everybody's favorite segment, Sick and Tired. Lynn, complain. Give it to us.
Okay. I'm sick and tired of myself, okay? Because I can't say I'm sick and tired of the sun here because it just got sunny, but uh, my planning, Sam, has been just horrible.
Uh-oh.
It's so sunny here and we have no blinds. No blinds in the house. So the sun doesn't set until like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and it wakes up at like 5 a.m. So if I wanted to go to bed early, can't do it. And then it's hot in the house and the sun wakes me up. And so every morning I just pull my bonnet down over my eyes because it's so bright in the house. And you know who did that to me? Myself. Because in the winter I
You.
didn't just buy blinds. And because our windows are so big, this is such a first world problem, but because windows are so big, they have to be custom ordered. So now that's going to take like 6 weeks.
Blinds like are a thing. Literally, I don't know if people who are watching this on YouTube notice, but 10 minutes ago I had a square of light on my face. My blinds are remote powered blinds that the remote charger is dead. And so I can't lower
The
and I'm
blinds.
just like blinds are out. I'm done with blinds, sick and tired.
Sick and
I
tired.
agree, Lynn. Blinds are the worst.
It's I can't
Blinds
sleep.
are the worst.
It's the worst.
What are we supposed to do? Hang up a sheet over the window like we're in college with nails?
Like,
That's what I did.
can the house not come with blinds that are supposed to be functioning for the house? Like, why? Why can't
I just want simple. You know what I actually want? Bohemian curtains is what I actually want.
Okay.
What I if I had no like whimsical aesthetic desires, I just want simple blinds that you hand raise and lower.
I think that
Like good old-fashioned window shades.
every house should come with blinds, and then if I wanna change them, I'll change them, but they should have, like,
built-in
built-in blinds. There should be
required.
like a preset thing. Like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's ridiculous.
I don't build houses.
I don't build houses.
But we hate blinds, and that's what this segment is for. So we did our job.
Blind
Sick and tired
haters.
blinds. Okay, Lynn, this is the end of the show. I'm really, really sad. We did just do a sick and tired, but now we get to turn our frowns upside down. Lynn, what's your good vibe?
Well, I just thought about this right now, but I'm getting inducted into the Pepperdine Hall of Fame on October 4th. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it because we have a game.
Lynn, congratulations.
Thank you.
What an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you. I feel like a very young inductee, but I am excited.
Yeah, I mean, they want to get your name and face up there so they can keep recruiting.
Yeah, just use me. Yeah, so that's super exciting. But my second really good vibe is, even though I just complained about how sunny it is so nice out now, and I have been going up to the roof and just sitting up there and having a good time. I have an umbrella, prop that up,
Ugh,
take
love.
17 juices up there because I have to have so many different drinking things.
Drinks, yeah.
A bag of chips, some grapes, and I've had the best day.
Love.
Thank you.
I love that for you. Sitting upstairs, sitting outside, and getting inducted into the Pepperdine Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much. That's my good vibe.
Good vibes. Yeah. My good vibe this week is just going to be, as some of you may know, I do have a new puppy and a 5-year-old puppy. So they've started getting along better, and that's my good vibe. This morning, Chester, the young one, my youngest,
My baby.
We get up early to let him out when he needs to go out at like maybe 5 or 6. And we've been just kind of like suffering through and like staying up with him. But this morning we kind of just like let him get in the bed with us, and then we all went back to sleep. And the dogs were like cuddling, and we got like another hour or 2 of sleep. It was amazing.
Aw, who do you think is going through a worse like night situation, you or Christy?
Christy. I think a newborn baby is harder.
Yeah, I think so too.
Than a puppy. I do. Okay, everybody, that's it for this week's episode of Good Vibes FC. I would love to hear what other people's good vibes have been, just to widen the scope of what good vibes can be. So I'd love to hear from you. You can send me an email. You can also follow along with us on social media, comment on our stuff, tell me some good vibes. You can also subscribe to this podcast feed. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I think that's about it, Lynn. I think that is our whole show
You
today.
can subscribe everywhere. I'm Lynn Biondolo.
I'm Sam Lewis. This is Good Vibes. Love ya.
Bye-bye.